There's me, there's us. There's them. We live in Dorset. So that's me, that's her, that's them. And together we are the Bear Fam. Hello Bear Fam. You may notice that this isn't London. And to the woman that had a go at me and told me I should stop vlogging outside because I am always moaning about people, I think you're watching the wrong channel. This is my channel, and I say and do what I'd like to do and say. And if you really don't like it, then there are many, many other channels you could be watching that are probably politer and less are less anxious and fearful of people than me. I don't moan about people just because I want to moan about people. I moan about people because I suffer with PTSD and a variety of other things from service in the police, and I get very anxious, and I am not a social person at all. I am well aware that people are fully entitled to be here as much as I am. All I want to do is avoid them. When I get cross is when I go out of my way to avoid people, and I take different paths and I divert, and they just follow me like magnets. Anyway, I shouldn't have to explain myself. Moving on. As you can see, I'm not in London, so I'd like you to watch the next clip, and then I'll explain to you what happened. Have a look at this. Hey Bear Fam. As promised, I was going to document this journey. The journey is somewhat delayed already. We turned up for our train, 2011, to be told we literally 6-7 minutes before it was due. I'm sorry, the train is cancelled. Cancelled. You know. So, there's one at 4 minutes past 9, but that terminates at Woking. So we're going to have to get off at Woking and find our way from Woking to Waterloo. Now my darling daughter has looked it up and assures me that there are regular trains from Woking to Waterloo. So I'm putting full faith in her.
My faith is in train line.
And is that a good idea? Bearing in mind what's just occurred.
Not really.
No. So then she said, oh well, if that doesn't work, I'll buy us an Uber to London. So we looked up the Uber price. 60 quid, didn't it? It's nothing at all. So I didn't want to go home and disturb the dogs, because the time we'd turn around and get there and turn around and come back again, pointless. So it's now 8:30, and here we sit in the car. She's hungry already. We haven't even left Weymouth yet. As I did wear them, look. I have got them on. I was worried about having to... Good job I did do it at home, because it took me probably the best part of an hour to try and line the buggers up.
Not even lined up.
And they're not... Shut up!
Not when they sit like that.
No, I know, that's the trouble. That's what I was trying to get you to do earlier. Because when it's over my boobillage, it unhinges it. So, never mind. It's done is done. Yeah, so we'll probably catch you along the way with our further trials and tribulations, because something is telling me it's going to be one of them days. Nights. It's a very long time since I worked a night shift. And quite frankly, right at this moment in time, I'd quite like just to go home and get in bed. Oh, another delayed train. Super. Right, we'll catch you when we catch you. Right, so that was last night at about 8:30, 8:45. And we were initially sat waiting in the car park of the station for the following train that they suggested we got, which was the 2104 to Woking, which is a couple of stops down from London Waterloo. What they hadn't made clear, and what I'm glad I made Ellie look up, was when the next connecting train from Woking to London Waterloo was. And it was like 2-3 in the morning, so we would have had to sit and wait at Woking for 2.5-3 hours, and that's not happening. And the alternative was then to add another £60 to the 200 or so we'd already spent on the expensive train tickets to get an Uber into London. So we came home. Now Ellie's mortified because Ellie loves London. I think she'll probably end up living there. And she's moaning non-stop today how bored she is and nothing to do and just real grumpy. She wants to go Monday for the funeral, and she cannot understand why I've said no. I don't want to. Now, those of you that suffer with social anxiety will understand why I don't want to go to London on Monday. Point one is the horrific crowds. I mean, it is going to be rammed. And there is part of me that really would love to be there to see the spectacle. I mean, you'll only see bits and bobs because it's going to be so heaving. I really want to take part in the service, and I want to see all the ceremonial. And it'd be a stressy, heaving day. Terrible trains there and back, if indeed the trains were running. I mean, she wanted me to drive up to London yesterday after the train was cancelled. And whilst I don't mind driving long distances if I know where I'm going, the thing with driving to London is parking and things. I mean, especially at the moment, I don't know if you've looked at the television, but a lot of London is currently sectioned off, boarded off. I mean, they've been preparing for the funeral since the news broke. So it would mean parking outside of London and then finding transport into London, which really then leaves me in the same position as sitting at Woking for 2 or 3 hours. And I know this is daft, and I know it's puerile and petty and all the other things, but it's too much for me. And I'm finally beginning to accept that I have limitations now. My mental health is just not strong enough to do certain things. And when my mental health gets wobbly because of the fibromyalgia, my physical health then declines. And much as I love the Queen, and if you look at this next clip, I even had my medals all sorted out and ready. Here, have a look at this. I had the jacket on, I had a coat over it so nobody could see. They were chinking away to themselves. But I wanted to do it on my terms. I was going to get there, I was going to go straight to the accessibility kiosk, I was going to get my time slot, and if there wasn't a time slot available, we were going to go look at the flowers in Green Park, the tributes, and hopefully catch some of the ceremonial practice, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but at night time, prior to these big events, all the ceremonial marching and various bits are practiced over and over in the dead of night in mufti, what we call is, just normal uniform, day-to-day mufti uniform. So I sort of had my heart set on that. If we couldn't get a time slot, that's what we were going to do, and then we were going to jump a train back and sort of be back. We had one of Ellie's friends that could stay the night and part the next day, and that was, once everything falls into place, I can just about cope with it. I was already having a bit of a panic attack on the platform waiting for the train, and the train was literally 7 minutes away. We were on the platform, had my bag, had my coat, had my medal, everything was ready just to jump on the train and go and do what I'd planned. And then to hear over the speaker, literally that close to getting on a train, I'm sorry, the 2011 service to London Waterloo is cancelled. Yeah. And then the suggestion you get on the Woking one, which was, like I said, all well and good. And we had planned that. We sat in the car park waiting, which is when you saw that clip. But when we realised that the service to Woking got in at 20 past midnight, which was 3 hours anyway, so it was as long as the normal train to Waterloo because it wasn't a direct, it was like stopping at every station there exists. And the last train really from Woking to London Waterloo till the middle of the night was 15 midnight. So we missed it by 5 minutes, even if everything was running on time and, you know, as it should do. And if you live in England, you know that our public services and our public transport especially are buggered. They're not right. They're expensive. They're not dependable. I mean, I rarely, and I'm on a moaning session now, that woman set me off this morning moaning at me. People pay, I'm glad I don't rely on the trains for work. I mean, I feel so badly for the people that rely on trains for work. Because I don't very often go to London. You know that. And out of the last 5 times we've tried to use the train to go to London, twice they've been cancelled. And if you take into account Ellie going to Bristol and other things, that then goes up. And if you, like we do, use it infrequently, that's quite a high percentage. It makes you wonder how many of the trains are cancelled generally. If you go to the continent and France and Germany and so on and so forth, I don't know whether it's because they're subsidised. Yeah, let's go that way, Moo. I fancy a bit of that. I don't know if it's because they're subsidised or what it is, but they are inexpensive, they're dependable, they're always, well, I'd say 90% of the time on time, if not higher. Same with buses and just everything in this country at the moment. For a country that used to be top of its game, number 1 in the world, 1 or 2 in the world, things are sagging. I can hear you, Mr. Robin. Haven't seen Robin for ages. And then the garden today, it's like he's come back from his summer holiday. So lovely to see him. I can hear another one. I can't see him, but I can hear him. Good, beautiful song. Listen. Can't see him. I have to say there are an inordinate amount of people around today. I guess being Saturday and a beautiful day. Very late in the summer or very early in the autumn, whichever one you want to say. According to my watch, it's 17 degrees, but I'm not sure if that's stuck because I'm sure it's a bit warmer than that. But it's very pleasant today, very pleasant indeed. Not as boiling and overpowering as it possibly was the last time I came here. Anyway, I've probably bored you long enough. That's why we're not in London. Thank you for those of you that sent messages and were so supportive over my medal situation. And it was as a result of really you all saying, yeah, go for it. Why not? That I was going to. I have to say, it's the first time I've ever worn medals. You know, I've had them, well, one of them I've had since 2002, so 20 years. Never taken it out of the box. I never even got round to sewing the medal ribbon on my uniform, really. So, What a shame. But still, I got to wear them for a good hour. Probably never again. Oh, there's people in the wood. It's very unusual for there to be people right there. I don't know what they're up to. There's quite a few people in there by the sound of it. Perhaps having a picnic. Come on, Jack, this way, please. This hedgerow is full of beautiful birds today. Singing and tweeting and beautiful. Oh. Gosh, there's very rarely people in this particular wood. I know this is the wood where those two poor young men took their lives. So to have a family gathering in there is quite unusual. It's not that sort of wood generally. Oh. Unless it's young people having a gathering of some sort. Don't know. Oh, anyway. Oh yes, before I forget, shall we try this coffee morning live? Oh, hello, Mr. Robin. Oh, there's one right on the floor beside my foot then. Wow, I nearly stood on him. It's gone up in the bramble bush. No, I missed him. Anyway, right, this coffee morning business, I thought we'd give it a try. 10:30 Tuesday. Clearly Monday's way out of the question because it's the Queen's funeral. I also find it, I don't know if you're into synchronicity, and we must have a chat about spirituality and things I'm beginning to learn, but a lot of people put a lot of store by angel numbers. Now, a lot of people also believe that people like the Queen have special knowledge of our actual true, who we are, what we are. And I find it interesting that her funeral is, bear in mind how punctual and how everything is like by the letter, generally. I think the funeral starts at 10:22. Now 10 is 22 in 24-hour clock. And 22, why 10:22? Just struck me as significant for some reason. And the times throughout the day are all like that. All off and unusual. I would expect it to be on the hour or on the half hour generally for things. Oh, the corn's gone. The field of corn has gone. It's all been chopped away since the last time I was here. Of course, autumn, harvest, so on. Right, I'm going to love and leave you. I've rambled for bloody hours, I'm sure. Sorry about the initial whinge. Had to get it off my chest, you know me. If you've been following the channel long enough, you know that saying I don't take criticism well. Especially on my own YouTube channel. If I was on somebody else's or I was on national television or something you couldn't avoid, yeah, okay, fair enough. But on my YouTube channel, it's quite simple really, isn't it? It's quite a simple flipping concept. Like it, watch it. Don't like it, switch it off. That's what I do on YouTube. I mean, I spend 90% of my life now, I watch YouTube. I'm actually thinking of scrapping Sky because I never watch it. But if I don't like something, I don't put a comment on it saying, why don't you do it this way? Or, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't do it that way. I just think, oh, not for me. Move on. To me, it's simple. And maybe that's the problem. Right. This bitch. And I am a bitch. I fully and readily admit that I'm quick-tempered. I don't like people. I don't deal with criticism well anymore. And my days of taking orders are well and truly over. All the crows in the field eating. Look, they're all having a feast. Look at the beautiful sea today. All the little sailing boats are out. Ah, beautiful view. And chunky. Anyway, I must put it in my phone so I don't forget 10:30 Tuesday. Be there or be square. And if any of you are up for moderating, if I recognise your name and you're a regular, and I know you are, and you're not already a mod, I'll make you one. Because the more the merrier. And that's about it. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you for listening to me whinge. If you want to put a critical comment on, stand by for liftoff. See you later, people.